Hi everyone, Chris Barrett here for Chris and Christina. So happy that you're with us. We have a great segment and I want to get to that segment right away. And again, we're so happy you're here. I'm going to throw it to Christina Luna. She's going to interview this young gentleman here who we've been getting to know for a long time. Actually, this morning we had a great chance to talk to him. He's going to tell you some really cool things that are happening here in the Poconos. Christina, who is this young man?
I am, first, Chris, thank you so much for bringing me to an Italian restaurant. We're bringing Italy to the Poconos, really? Because we always went to the Hispanic restaurants, but now you told me here, Chef Nicola. Nicola, hola?
Nicola.
Nicola. ¿Cómo se Nicola?
Nicola.
Nicola. Hi, hola, Chef Nicola. How are you?
Very good, very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for being at Momentos.
Oh, we're so happy to be here. You talked to us about so many things this morning. I don't even know where do we start?
Where do we start? How did you come here to the Poconos and create Italy, Little Italy in the Poconos? Because really, this is Little Italy in the Poconos. All these ingredients are authentic Italian, right?
Yes. Yeah, what's wrong with Poconos? It's beautiful. We don't have to undermine Poconos while we move from... the theory of big metropolitan areas is like, oh my God, I'm from New York, I'm staying in New York, and I'm going to be exploring an originality of whatever authenticity you have as a background, and you stay in New York, and all of a sudden you're in Poconos. Oh, how you come to Poconos? There's nothing wrong with Poconos. Poconos is beautiful. The people travel every day to come to Poconos. That's why we have the best resorts. That's why we have the best to offer as a nature, as everything that Poconos result. But how I came to Poconos? I used to work in Manhattan. I used to travel back and forth as I kind of semi-established myself here, visiting my cousin here. And one day I decided to stay in Pocono because even though where I come from, I'm a country boy, outside of a city, not really into the city.
And where did you work in Manhattan? You told us this.
I work in Manhattan in a couple places. One of them was Cipriani, Le Cirque, San Domenico of New York, and Limoncello, which are 4 restaurants that I worked in Manhattan. They were like the icons, I would say, or they were like established themselves upon to an extremely disciplined, authentic cuisine. They kind of distinguish them on a product, on knowledge, on exploration of changes and bringing to United States of America. You're talking about that each one of them are, completely concept come from Europe. One of them, all of them were Italian, but in a different flavor region, in different procedures on exploration. So it's mean a lot of knowledge on these restaurants. But obviously, everywhere you go, to the cities, to metropolitan area, no matter where you go, you're always going to find this challenge, competition. Yeah. And remember that competition brings business. Rule number 1 in my field, in my thing, I would say competition brings a glory, brings a beautiful business for everybody.
Well, I think that's what really fascinated me when we were talking this morning. You were talking about how you looked at this totally differently, and you're innovating. You're bringing chemistry. It's not just a recipe.
Yeah,
that was so fascinating.
Well, it's an amazing in our industry because you can either create a menu and you find that glitch of a success of that menu, and you can lay yourself for the next 20, 30 years. You lay yourself, you sleep in the feathers, and you never innovate yourself again. In our industry, you need to be always bringing and looking at that evolution moment that you had, that you created, how to create it and to turn out a revolution. That's you have to reinvent yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Think about this, that if I stay for 20, 30 years in the same exact, I never explore, I never give a chance to myself to catch the new generations, to catch the generation that are between 18 to 23, the young generations are in so curiosity of the flavor explorations. So you can create and you can collect a new generations. You reinvent yourself.
And how did you do that here? How did you do that with chemistry?
Yeah, because that's so
fascinating.
molecular, right?
Molecular gastronomy is I won't say so new, but it's still new. They never got aged. Why? Because not many people will get into. It requires patience, require lots of time, require lots of of study. You have to study the chemistry. You have to study the product, the gastronomy. So you have to study the preciseness of things. And obviously that required a time and a passion. If you don't have that feeling, that communication, then you can talk to the product.
You talk to the food.
Love to what you do, don't waste your time.
So tell us what, because I know you studied in the culinary school in Italy, right?
Yes.
And in France, and in Spain, and in Germany, and you brought all of these flavors here to your restaurant, Momentos, here in the Poconos.
Yes.
How do you do that? And what kind of food do we find here? Because you talk also about molecular, nouvelle cuisine, traditional cuisine. Wow, that's a lot. That's exciting.
Well, it is. You know, it's like, I'll tell you what my wife says. It's like, one time my wife, when I met with my wife, bringing her, around the city, where she was very impressive of this great innovation. That's great things that are happening. And she told me one day when I had a little place, why you don't bring these little things in Poconos? And at the same time, I was like, I was a little skeptical. She told me, she's a southern lady in France. She's like, well, he said, you should hire and you let her fly. What do you mean? I said, you should high and fly. She says.
High and fly.
I was like,
wow.
I was like, try it. She said, why not? You gotta have a guts to glory.
Yeah.
So try and see what brings you. You know what? She took me a little bit out of the shell of my skepticism to do it over here. So when I try little by little, here we are today.
Chef Nicola, everything is possible in America. You come
Everything
from Italy, I come from
is a country of
Spain.
opportunity.
Yeah, your nonna came from Italy, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So, that's where we are today. We kind of explore a lot of things and we kind of bring a little bit diversity. And one of the things is that doing this keeps you innovations, it brings the new customers, brings a new experience from my cooks, from my employees. And knowledge is one of the key things that every chef should look at.
And that was fascinating when we talked, is you look at the people who work on your team here as they're all exchanging knowledge, and you haven't had any turnover whatsoever.
No, I have almost, I will say this very proudly, that I have almost zero turnover, because it's not about $5 that you're going to give to somebody. You pay them to the best abilities that you can afford, and you be proud to do that. But one of the best things that you can offer to a young generation that works with you, a knowledge that tomorrow, when he goes somewhere else, he will be requested. He doesn't have to fight to find another job.
And passion, right? You were
Passion. I have a young men's and young, wonderful employees in my kitchen that they look forward. What we're going to learn today? How we're going to learn today? From pastas to the molecular gastronomy to a truffle that bring from Italy, to extensive of a tasting menu that we do, to extensive product, to educations, to a lot of level of techniques, and they learn and they create and they develop this vision how they can create their own. There is a satisfaction on the feeling and on the touch, on the delivering things. So they build their career, or they build experience with such a knowledge that $1 more or $1 less doesn't become an issue. And knowledge, that is the number of things that brings you to fly with the eagle.
Yeah.
That is the knowledge.
Eagles fly in the Poconos.
Yes.
I know, just because, what is this?
What is
That
this?
is a
Yeah,
truffle.
tell
I
us.
have to ask that.
A
All of
truffle.
this.
We go in tartufo bianco, which is comes from a region of Piedmont region, which is one of the I would call them a diamond of the kitchen. The diamond of kitchen come from Piedmont, Torino. These specifically come from Alba, Torino. So it start in early October. We call them primizie, which is the early truffle, not really mature yet, but as it come in towards the end of October, and then beginning of November, the truffle become better. It's gonna peak. Matter of fact, over here in Momentos of November 12th, we're gonna do one of the prestige, which is called White Truffle Gala, which used to be held in Manhattan before, with prestige restaurants for Michelin rating stars and things. So we bring in at Poconos, and then the Urbani, which is one of the biggest company in the world, which they made me ambassador of a truffle. So they give me the rights to do it at Momentos.
Wow,
In
that's
thing. So,
cool.
for the first time, we do the truffle gala, which was great. I was impressed when we are booked for that. I was
Nice.
impressed
That's
with
great.
that.
So we gotta get in.
We close the day just for that. We're gonna do a tasting menu, which is multiple layer of the food that we're gonna do, probably 12 course tastings. So in each plate, we're gonna put a truffle, and in each plate is gonna come with a great, wine pairing. Each course different wine, which will be a Prunotto, one of the finest wineries collection in the world, which is represented by Urbani in Manhattan. They're gonna send a sommelier over here, which is a certified sommelier. And you think about that, there are only 368 sommelier in the world. It's the rarest thing to become a sommelier. You have a lot more chance to become a U.S. president, but not sommelier.
We can't talk about
I'm
that.
just saying that's rare.
So I hate to. Oh my gosh, I have 12 minutes went like this.
Yeah, are we going to cook something? What are we
Yes,
going to
absolutely.
cook today?
Absolutely. We're gonna cook, and these are product that these
So we
are.
wanted everybody to see where
So
that came
this
from.
is the additives of the molecular gastronomy, and then we have a risotto that comes straight carnaroli that is specifically for this season that we do. There are 3 types of risotto.
And I think too, just
Yeah.
because of when we talked to Chef before when we came in, I want him to highlight his team. I mean, we can cook, but his team really, I'd like us to really see how they do. Great team here. You guys are just awesome. And this is something my grandma, polenta, she used to make it all the time. Oh, so it's a
Well,
great
I
team.
was saying that
I feel
polenta.
like-
Everybody saying polenta. No, polenta gotta be polenta bramata. Polenta Moretti bramata is the way is stoned, the way is dry, the way is sifted is. When you cook this polenta,
That's really Roman.
when you cook this
Yeah?
polenta,
Yeah, yeah.
after it's chilled and you put them away, you bring it, you make it crispy.
Oh.
Then it comes back 100% as the first minute you cook it. It's not just a cornmeal that you put them back and you need a shotgun to separate it because it's gonna tough.
And what about the ones in
No.
the supermarket that look like a sausage? That's polenta.
No.
No.
You gotta do polenta. You gotta do
Autentico.
polenta, bramata, autentico here. I'm not against about that. I'm not against about that in any type of shape. But if you're gonna come to Italian restaurants, you gotta have the product Italian, from olive oil to truffle.
Everything
to
is
beautiful,
authentic
and then
Italian?
And this is
Italian.
that's right, and this is
And
the-
then from our fresh pastas, you're gonna see that our cook does over here. It's amazing.
Well, and this is pride and passion. You're hearing it right here. You're seeing it right here, and you're hearing it right from the chef. You've got to try Mementos. We're going to do some cooking, but this is Christina's. You gotta end this segment. This is your thing.
Chris, are you ready to cook?
I am ready.
Chef Nicola, are you ready to teach us really, real Italian food?
Absolutely.
Because all the products are from Italy, right?
Absolutely.
Are you sure everything?
100%. You
Completely,
can
right?
read that. Here, and we're gonna go to the kitchen.
All
We're
right.
going to go to the kitchen and Chris, hands on. Are you ready?
Yes.
You're ready.
Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in the kitchen. Well, here we are with Chef and Christina. We're here. Oh my gosh, this is like a cornucopia of Italiano. Oh.
Authentica pasta fresca, real fresh pasta. We made this. We helped you.
Let's say you participate on the action.
Okay.
Ecco, participate in action. Well, these are the typical pasta that we do over here in Momentos. It's,
Always fresh?
fresh pasta. Being authentic of Italian restaurants, you have to distinguish yourself sometime on a concept, on the principles that you defend and you present it for.
So what is the difference in taste between dry pasta and fresh pasta?
Well, dry pasta is a pasta that first of all you keep it in a dry storage. Doesn't require a refrigerator, but also doesn't have any egg inside. This is made. In Italy we call pasta all'uovo. Pasta with fresh egg.
Fresh egg,
You have to have a flour that comes straight from Italy, which is Gran Mugnaia, which is this flour over here. This flour, you cannot do pasta with with the regular all-purpose flour that you find in a store. No. The humidity on that, the level of humidity on that pasta, is for good dumpling, not for nice pasta. No, from gnocchi, egg yolk raviolo, one of our signatures, a pumpkin ravioli, cheese ravioli, fettuccine, and pappardelle, which obviously my assistant, the Chef Santi, was going to show today some of our dishes, and Chef Anthony. Chef Anthony is my scientist of this kitchen. Molecular gastronomical guy. So I say something, Anthony, I need this thing to be done. Oh, don't worry, I got it, he says.
Well, you guys did a great job here. It looks amazing.
Yeah. This one right here is the panna cotta. Panna cotta is when somebody, thinks vanilla custard. Vanilla custard, somebody says that it's pudding, it's jelly, it's whatever the words they find. No, panna cotta is an art himself. We do the traditional cryovac. What is the traditional cryovac? Everybody thinks if I don't have a machine to cryovac the things, I cannot do it. Well, I'm going to show you how the gentleman does it over there. When you're ready, chef, let me know. Today, we are not here about a recipe. It's about a concept, how we can revolutionize something.
And I love that.
Great.
So the key thing is you say this isn't a recipe.
No, concept.
Right. It's a concept. It's a revolution. It's a different way to look at it.
Different to look at, absolutely.
Right. And that's the beauty of it. So I know when my grandma made this, she used to take the dough and put it over this. It looked like a guitar string.
Pasta la chitarra.
Yeah,
the famous chitarra is very famous. And put them on top with a roller. And underneath comes the chitarra. It's a very famous recipe.
Oh my God.
You used to do that?
Very famous recipe. Very famous recipe.
I would watch her mix the dough. I would watch her roll it out. Then I would watch her put it on top.
Yeah.
And then she would let it dry overnight.
Yeah.
And then the next day she would cook it. So it's like not like that wasn't a real science like this, but
So to be able to cook that, you have to take the whole air out. So what you do, you see the water push the air out, I see dip in it, and then we create the traditional cryovac. And you take it up, chef, right now. Look at this, completely without air out.
Wow,
So you cook that, you could create that. It's beautiful. And you cook it without having the machine. So that's a good tip for a chef. The machines, the technology is always good, but without the traditional things, you don't go nowhere. You don't go nowhere. So after he finished the things, and he cooks it there for about 15 minutes, and the panna cotta is ready. If we take a heavy cream, 40% heavy cream, and we exhaust the heavy cream to the peak, and we separate the water from a cream, what happens? That becomes butter. So now we encapsulate that with additives, which we call alginate, sodium alginate. Sodium alginate is a great encapsulator product, which comes actually from a red algae from a sea product. And then we have lactate, calcium lactate. Lactate plays the role of keeping together the product that we brought it to the whip. So you have a bowl with a butter, but encapsulated without disintegration. We use culture, mix it together to give that touch of flavor. And one of the trick with this is, guys, that you gotta have, this is a tip to whoever wants to explore, make sure you have to have a pure water. You have to have a distilled water, spring water.
so it can't have any chemicals.
Because the lead of the water, the hardness of the water, the chlorines that you have in it, it will not form this butter. That's what one of the things that I was precisely explaining, that the chemistry require attentions on these things. Is amazing. You have to. You don't have to mix it. You have to fold it slowly, and you have to create these mixtures between one of the other. Wow.
Is it
I wanna
only
create
butter
it.
that you're presenting? You're presenting something.
Something. No, this is the ingredient of a butter. If I exhaust this product, if I tell him take that whip and exhaust this product, you're gonna see the separation between water and the yellow butter come, a lump.
That's a class of chemistry,
Well, it is,
right?
but you have to.
We didn't expect that, right?
And that's what I think really was so amazing about Chef, is that when he started to talk to us about all the things that he does that are totally different, and they're incredibly interesting, And the taste piece of it, first of all, they're interesting. The taste, the passion, the science that chef has are great.
This is a pasta that takes a long time to cook. We did, Chef Santi today did the pre-cooking of this to make it easy on the procedure so we can move forward. And we have a beautiful bolognese. Bolognese is a traditional Italian, wonderful ragu of meat with the reduction of the sauces. In Italy, have an very extensive a procedure that you do it. This is the beauty of a kitchen. You know what? It requires lots of a great ingredient, lots of a patience, and lots of, you know, how you say, a presentation that you satisfy the eye of the people.
And your guys are, your folks are just amazing. And look at the beauty of this.
Look how beautiful is that.
And then the Chef Santi, you have the ragu ready, and a beautiful, after we finish that, beautiful golden and crispy from outside.
Can't wait.
Yes.
And the key thing is it's right here in the Pocono Mountains. So when you think that the Pocono Mountains doesn't have all the key elements of a city and the class and culture of a city, it absolutely does.
There's a beautiful mushrooms over there. We got in from this mushroom. Chef used this mushroom to the puree and the soup that we can do it. This is the king oyster mushrooms. We all use many other mushrooms all together. But
And you know, Chef, you talk about natural ingredients, you talk about farm to table, you talk about all those things, and we're seeing everything right here, right?
yes, absolutely. This is a beautiful rigatoni with a nice bolognese sauce.
It's amazing.
Simple. And then obviously we have Chef Jean-Louis over here and Chef Santi, and they are in charge to do. They are in charge to do all the
Perfect.
sauces and all things. Yes.
Now, if you want a real authentic Italian experience,
You gotta finish it with a little olive oil. Olive oil, remember,
From Italy.
extra virgin olive oil,
First press.
corto. I love it.
And which one is the best one to cook then?
The best one, you never cook with olive oil. It's a big mistake.
you heard it here.
Whoever pride himself to sear the fish or the meat with olive oil,
Which
you need to go back to school. It's all good. It's all
We
good.
are in school here.
We are at school, but you know what? All good things have to come to an end. I hate to say that. We could be here all day long. And the one thing I want to say is that if you are going to come to a place in the Poconos and you want to eat authentic Italian food, it's right here, Momento's in Strasbourg. And Chef Nicola, he's around all the time.
Oh, yes.
He'll tell you anything you want to know because this is really an experience in so many different ways. So for Chris and Christina, chefs here, Chef did a great job. You saw her creations. I just want to say thanks for watching.